Sunny skies expected through the day. Tomorrow up to 81 and sunshine for Saturday and Sunday. 82 on Saturday, Sunday, 85 for the high. 83 the high today with showers likely through the day.
Let me ask you a question. What do you see when you look at your car? Do you just see taillights or your dog's tail wagging when you first brought them home? Do you see 4 tires or 2 tired kids in the back seat after their first day of school? Other insurance companies just see a car, but a State Farm agent sees what your car really means to you. So why not give it the protection it deserves? See State Farm agent Barkley Hudson in Princeton today.
Don't use tires and wheels, where the customer is always number one. So when life's throwing you a number 2, just remember, Dunk's Tires and Wheels, because we'll be here for you. We sell used custom wheels and tires and do plug and patch repair. We have all tread styles and sizes in stock. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and on call for emergencies. Call 270-963-6391. Don't use tires and wheels, where the customer is always number one.
I just came by to show you my beautiful car that I just bought at Trice Shoes. Y'all are always telling me to shop local, and so that's what I do every time I can. I wanted a car here that I could take up here to Trice Shoes and get service on, and that's what they're going to do for me. My name is Dolores Campbell. I just had to share the news.
Trice Shoes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
People love to enjoy themselves. It's all fun and games. Oh, excuse me. Yes, shaken, not stirred. As I said, it's all fun and games till the ceiling is ruined by a nasty water leak or drafty window. It raises the power bill through the roof. So get the roof before it gets you. The name? Bond. James Bond.
James Bond Roofing, Windows, Siding, and more. 270-963-0840.
Are you struggling to afford health care medications? Let Health First help you. Whether you are insured, uninsured, or underinsured, you will still be cared for at Health First Community Health Center. We offer financial and prescription assistance to all those that qualify, which is based on income and household size. Contact our office at 1-877-667-7017 for more information, or visit our website, healthfirstchc.net. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Visit us at one of our 8 locations for all your health care needs. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
Some of the best times are on the lake, eating your favorite food, sipping on a drink, and listening to live music. The Summer Concert Series at Eddy Creek Marina Resort is open for business. Live bands every Saturday night. Sit back and grab some of your favorites at Echo Charlie's, like the homemade crab cakes, Bubba's Key West salt rings, or the hand-patted Barkley Burger, pontoon rentals, cabins, and more to enjoy at Eddy Creek Marina and Echo Charlie's this summer.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYOnline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Good morning, everyone. The Sideline Report is on the air from 1580, 103.3 WPKY. 1035 West Main Street is where we're coming from this morning. Thanks for joining us on the Sideline Report. We've got Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes in the studio with us today. Guys, thanks for coming in this morning. And how about that Tiger Day yesterday?
Oh, it was awesome. We were up here. I was up here a couple of times yesterday. I saw Bob. We were in on a couple of interviews. And just such a good day. It raised a lot of money. We don't know the exact totals yet. I think that's the cliffhanger this morning. You're just supposedly going to get to announce that on
anxiously
the air.
awaiting those numbers.
You know, it's going to be 10 after 8 or 20 after 8 or 5 minutes to 9. We don't know when that's coming.
Yeah, I'll let everybody know when I know. So we'll pass that along really quick. But that was a fun day. I think we ended up about 9 hours worth of content yesterday. All of it's still up at WPKYOnline.com. So you can go and watch the videos of all the interviews yesterday. And Dennis, I still haven't added up all the people that came in and talked to us yesterday.
There was a lot, and I got to thinking about it this morning a little bit. You had state championship coaches, you had state championship players, you had Mr. Footballs, you had national champions, you had professional athletes on the show, all with a tie to Caldwell County.
Well, and I thought about this going home last night. Emma Talley is actually a two-time national champion because she won the U.S. Women's Amateur and the NCAA championship. So
in Alabama,
So that equals Tanner Reed's 2 national championships.
Well, that'll put him on the clock now to try to one-up that one. But it was good to have every sport. I think you had every sport represented
Just
yesterday.
about, yeah. I mean, it was a busy day, and it was a lot of fun. There were a few times I wish I had more time to talk to people. You know, going into it, I thought those might be about 10-minute interviews, and we had some people hang around an hour or more. Gates and Dennis Tomic were both in here for about 2 hours hanging out, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we joked that you could make it like the old Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon and make it a couple of days and overnight. We had so much come in here and so many stories to tell. Everybody that walked into the door, you probably have been around it as long as anybody. You could tell stories about each person that came in yesterday. They could share stories. So it was just a fun time here to be a part of Caldwell County sports.
And I'm sure, and I did listen to a lot of it yesterday after I went home, Todd Twyman never did make it in yesterday, did he? So I'm sure he could have regaled us with a couple stories.
Well, that's what I said yesterday when we were closing up, that, you know, we had, again, about 9 hours worth of content, and we just barely scratched the surface on a lot of those stories.
Barely is correct. Yes.
Need to get to a break here on the show. Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes with us on the Sideline Report this morning. Back after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
I didn't have to do anything. I think looking back on it, it's like, you know, once I called hospice, they took over. I didn't have to think. I didn't have to, worry about where was I going to get the equipment, where was I going to do this or that. I just had to focus on my husband. And that was wonderful. I think I would have been totally lost without the grief support group. And we had a really good group in that 6-session group. That's the first thing. And you realize that you're not the only one that's going through it. Your situation may be unique, but a lot of the things are very similar to what other people are going through. And it's like, hey, they're going through it also, and it's okay.
Penny Royal Hospice, living to the fullest.
There's an advantage in being the home team. You know who Emma Talley, Jake Lewis, and Pat Gates are. You've seen the wall around Butler Stadium and have heard of the Caldwell Crazies. Trice Hughes, we're your home team. Here's our home team deal of the week.
2019 Chevy Blazer. You take your pick, silver or gray. All-wheel drive Premier. Only $11,184.
Get this home team deal of the week at Trice Hughes. Find us on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or tricehughes.com.
Community leaders around the area are supporting the greatest comeback of all time.
I love the greatest comeback. There's so many good efforts together, and that's really been wonderful to see, is so many organizations and agencies really coming together to help our small businesses.
Well, also needed to continue to encourage our citizens to be proactive in supporting our businesses and patronizing our local businesses in particular, and helping those businesses who have stood the test of time, so to speak, to be able to continue to stay open and active and serving our needs.
We are in constant contact with each other to share ideas and make sure that we're all kind of doing things and helping each other do the best for our whole region. So that's been great.
The greatest comeback of all time is underway. Continue supporting local. Together, we can make a difference.
Back on the Sideline Report. Thanks for joining us this morning here at 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Todd Griffin in the WPKY studios with Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes. Guys, it looks like it might be just a few minutes before we get those numbers, probably closer to 9 o'clock this morning before we have a total. And as a matter of fact, if anyone still wants to donate, they can still do so. You can go online, WPKYonline.com, and go to the Big Deal store and make a donation there. So still time to get in on all the action. Tiger Day yesterday, like we said, a big success, and I was just really impressed with the number of people who came through the door and the number of people willing to come in here and actually talk about their Tiger memories with us.
I think it's just a thing that Caldwell County is going to do. They're going to take care of this athletic program, and they're going to show their support. This county always has. You've got the a lot of businesses that year after year after year, you can count on whatever Caldwell County Sports needs, they're going to deliver. Now you had some new ones come in yesterday on the corporate list. I thought that was great. Some people starting to step up and take some of that tradition to their businesses. So that's awesome to have them. And a lot of people came in, just dropped it off in the box, didn't want any notoriety, didn't want their names mentioned that much, but a huge turnout. I think the numbers are going to be great once you get those this morning.
And exactly, that's one of the things that, we don't know what the lack of or loss of revenue is going to produce this year. Those figures are never disclosed. How basketball operates, I know baseball doesn't operate, or softball at profit. So what was taken in yesterday certainly, hopefully, makes a big inroad in that loss of revenue. That was obviously the plan from the start, and I'm anxious to hear the figure at 9 o'clock.
We had at least 10 corporate sponsors the last time I checked, so that's a big head start.
That's at least $10,000 because it was a $1,000 minimum. Some may have given more. We really don't know just yet, but it's going to go a long way in a season there's just no certainties to. You don't know how many expenses you're going to have. You don't know if this football season is going to make it to the playoffs.
Well, that's the big thing. I think Chris George mentioned that yesterday, late in the day on Tiger Day, that success this season might be determined by getting through the season.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
So Chris was on yesterday. I missed that. Was he on by telephone?
Yeah, we had him on the phone with
he
and Gary were in the 4 o'clock drive hour. So
I'm sorry, I had my radio off at that time yesterday.
I heard Gary's going to go syndicated after yesterday.
We'll see how it goes, But if you want to watch all that, again, it's still available up on WPKYonline.com. You can pull up the videos and watch everybody we had in the studio. Like I said, it got a little crowded in here a few times, but that's okay. It was great to hear everybody's story and give everybody a chance to talk about Tiger sports.
It was, and probably as big a surprise to me anyway, yesterday early was Coach Fralick saying that he had resigned from the staff of the Lady Tigers basketball team.
Yeah, I heard that coming in yesterday, and that was a surprise, but Coach Fralick has been involved with the basketball programs for a long time.
Both at Caldwell and at Dawson.
Right. So,
it's sometimes as you get our age, it's time, so to speak, and that I heard yesterday somebody mentioned, well, it gives him more time to hunt and fish.
Yeah.
I think you said that, Todd.
Yeah, I think that was me. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that. He's not a golfer, so I don't think he'll be taking that sport up.
But you just, Dennis mentioned it earlier about the people that were here. Pat Gates is one of the very few coaches. I mean, it's a very short list. I'm not sure exactly how many that have won state football championships at 2 different schools.
Right, with Crittenden and with Caldwell County.
A really short list.
Yeah. A lot of people have won multiple state championships, but to do it at 2 different schools is kind of unique.
Well, certainly one Princeton native is in that category, Joe Kelly Jackson.
Yeah.
So, not many.
But it was fun to have everybody in. We kind of had, what I consider some Tiger royalty in. It was fun to talk to Elijah Sindelar, the only Mr. Football ever from Caldwell County, and, that will forever be a big feather in his cap.
Oh, yeah, it's fun to talk to Elijah, one of the brightest kids in the classroom, and then the way he excelled on the football field. And we can remember that was the year before Bob and I got the chance to do the play-by-play in color for Caldwell County. You would come to the game, and the crowds would start getting here about 5:30 for a 7 o'clock game, and you better get here before 6, or you were having to kind of elbow somebody out of a space just to try to get in the stands.
The first time I really realized all that, I think, was maybe his sophomore season. Either sophomore or junior year, we played at Ohio County, and it's about an hour drive, so sometimes you have a longer drive, you wonder how many people will show up and what kind of crowd the other team will have. But when we got there, you couldn't find a parking spot. The parking lot was full, the grassy areas were full, there were people all over the place. So our first thought was, well, it's homecoming, maybe they're honoring the seniors, maybe something special is going on. So we just asked somebody walking up, like, what's up? What's going on today? Everybody's here to see this kid from Caldwell County play quarterback. And that's when we kind of figured out hey, you know, something's going on here.
So it wasn't a Bill Monroe concert.
No.
No, he and that's the other thing that, as Dennis mentions about the tradition down here, we travel well. And I don't care, football, basketball, baseball, there's going to be a contingent of Caldwell Countyans at those sports, no matter 20 miles away, 60 miles away, or what have you.
Yeah, you know how you just remember odd things sometimes? I remember in 1987, at the end of the basketball season, Caldwell County played Madisonville over at Madisonville for the second region championship. Last time Caldwell County was in the boys' regional championship game. I remember after the semifinals turning on one of the Madisonville stations on the way home to listen to whatever they had to say, and they were telling all the Madisonville fans to get there and get there early, because if you didn't get there early, a Caldwell Countyan would have your seat.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's how we travel.
You're going to see a lot of blue and gold anytime the Tigers hit the road, basketball, football. They're just a well-traveled bunch.
Now I remember that trip, and Chris brought this up yesterday, Bob, when we went to Greene County, and everybody made the trip to Campbellsville to go to Druthers. And we kind of warned Druthers that, hey, all these Caldwell County fans are headed your guys' way, and I think the response was, okay, yeah, but...
we could handle 20, 25.
Yeah, and there was over 100 people. The line was still out the door as we were leaving to go to the game. And, you know, they only had 2 or 3 people working in there, and I think they tried to call in some extra people, but it was kind of fun, though, to see all that blue and gold swamp Druthers in Campbellsville on the way to Greene County for a football game.
That's just story after story after story you can tell on things like that. It's just amazing, especially if we're in any kind of battle for a conference championship or a district playoff game or whatever. They'll really travel well then.
Well, and even baseball and softball, soccer, when it was playing for the regional girls championship a couple of years ago. I mean, you know, you put a team on a big stage like that, and the Caldwell County fans show up.
Yeah, it's especially the big games like that. You can take a look at the cab some nights. If it's a big district game, especially you open the season generally with Lyon County in basketball.
You know, I kind of miss those old 5th District games, because those were always fun.
Yeah, but the crowds at both Princeton and Lyon County, when they alternate and you open the season, it's a full house at both places.
And you know, and that's all sports. I don't know if you can get a big crowd to a cross-country event, but volleyball, like you say, tennis draws them. When we were on the verge of a really nice year last year until it got washed out by COVID. So it's just every sport. It's not just your 2 big ones.
Well, and the unfortunate thing about this season is we can't have those big crowds, at least starting out with.
Yeah, Kim Farmer was here, and that's probably the one person I don't envy at all right now, trying to sort out all that she and Wayne, I'm sure, in on it too, as well as Steve Kukiko's some. The decisions that they have to make just on crowd. I mean, who's going to get the tickets? How are you going to distribute roughly 600 tickets total for a football game at least the first week or two? She said on the interview on the news this morning that maybe it goes up, maybe it doesn't. You'll see how you can handle that. Some schools are starting out as low as 20.
Yeah.
Some may be up to 40 or 50, but they decided on 30, which they deem manageable, and see how it goes. So it's going to be tough to divvy up those tickets.
But, I mean, that's the entire reason for Tiger Day yesterday, was try to, you know, offset some of those financial losses, because you got to think realistically, with Crittenden County expecting a good season and Caldwell County expecting a good season, the game getting moved to the season opener, that's going to draw 2,500 people easily, I would think.
It would have been a full house next Friday night if everything had been normal, in my opinion, Todd. No doubt about it.
You know, I think there would have been people in every corner of that stadium trying to get in and get a view of that game.
And Marion travels well, too,
yes,
for their team. So it's a huge loss in revenue for us, for sure.
Especially when the Lady Rockets are playing Caldwell County.
Exactly.
So that's going to be something we have to watch, and hopefully everything goes well, and as the season progresses, more and more people can get to the games. I mean, we never know how things are going to play out, but on the other hand, I'm just kind of glad that we have found a way somehow to have sports this fall.
Yeah, it was kind of eye-opening listening to Kim Farmer do some of the totals. They average about $5,000 at a gate per football game.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 football games
during the regular
during
season.
The regular season, maybe a playoff game. I don't know how the playoff games are divvied up, if you got to share that with the district. But already we're 20% off of that, losing 1 home game this year. We only have 4 home games. And then she got to talking about another interview or two on the news the past couple of days, some of the cost. Football is the big revenue producer, but also the biggest expense. And she got to talking about just conditioning the helmets and buying new football helmets, new helmets at $350 a pop, or reconditioning those. That might take up one week's gate receipt just for helmets.
Yeah, when you figure there's an average of 50 or 60 players on a team each year,
right?
Just outfitting those guys is quite a bit of money.
And the other negative here is the band takes a hit too, concession-wise. In that, I don't know what kind of concessions we're going to have, just candy bars and bottled drinks.
I would assume prepackaged stuff.
Yeah, I would think that's probably in the mix, and so they end up taking a hit.
But we talk about football kind of driving the athletic department budget, and it does. But that doesn't take away from all these other sports that you see having fundraisers year-round. And,
right.
I think we've all taken part in those things, and those things are a lot of work. And sometimes you make some money and sometimes you don't, but the work is still there. So while football kind of drives everything, we don't mean to diminish any other sport, because those parents and kids are out there working to raise their money too.
Yeah, and you got to take your hat off then to Torrey Hammett and his crew. I know there's a lot of people that go in on what we do now in December with this basketball classic. I mean, it's grown and grown and grown to one of the premier events, I think, in this end of the state every winter.
But again, it's kind of just the world we live in right now, that numbers have to be decreased. Everyone's going to have to wear a mask, and as I keep saying, that's just what we've got to do to have sports.
And I think the high school, KHSAA, all the way down to each individual county, is going above and beyond, trying to make preparations and trying to take precautions. I can look at this summer when I had a granddaughter playing softball. There were nowhere near the precautions and limitations on kids traveling to play softball to different counties, because it's a multi-county thing now. The concession stands were open at most places. You would go up, you would keep your distance in line, but you were still handed a hamburger or cheeseburger or hot dog or whatever you ordered. Small stands at some of these Little League fields, you'd try to keep your 6 feet distance, but you'd spread out along the fence. So I think the administration at the high schools are doing a great job at what they're doing to get this season started.
Like I said, I'm just glad we have a season to talk about.
Right.
Crittenden County coming in for the season opener. That's going to be big. The next week, the Tigers go to Union County. And
don't mention that word to me, Todd. I was looking at the schedule
it's
here.
Bob's favorite press box.
Oh, Lord. They don't let us in the press box over there. They send us across the field in 2 of these little things where it looks like a German prison. Stalag 13 is what I call where we have to watch a game from. And but it's just like every other year I have to go through this torment, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know if we turn the lights on or if we light a candle.
Well, one year they turn the coaching staff sits in the other part of that booth and films, and they turn off the lights, and it turns off our lights. So we have to take flashlights and things like that. So Union County is not one of my most treasured trips. But we don't have to go to Fort Campbell this year.
That's correct. Fort Campbell is not going to have a team this year. The DODEA would not allow them to play football or another sport, maybe soccer. They cannot play those sports.
And I think they also banned volleyball too.
Yeah, I think you're right.
On that, the sports where you get really heated up and all that. But I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on what the Army does.
So Caldwell County right now with 8 games. Coach Will Barnes said yesterday he's still trying to look for someone to fill that spot that was vacated by Fort Campbell. McLean County is a possibility. Hopefully that would work out, because whether they come here or we go there, I think that's a pretty easy trip to make.
Yeah, and it's a good matchup for us.
Yeah, so that would be a good game to pick up.
And that open date right now where Fort Campbell dropped out, Todd and Dennis, is after the Mayfield game on October 2nd. So, and the next game up is on the 16th of October against Murray, 2 district rivals, so to speak. So, if we can get a game in there, that'd be great for these kids. But we might also take the opportunity to heal up, too, after the Mayfield game.
If there's going to be an open date on the schedule between Mayfield and Murray, would be a great spot for it.
I think so. It gives you a little preparation for Murray, because that could be and it will be a big game. It's not that it could be, it will be a big game.
But when you're only getting 9 games anyway, you kind of want to fill all those spots if you can. So, and I'll be honest, when all those regulations and stipulations came down, I was actually surprised to see them approve 9 football games this year.
Well, I don't know what decision making goes into that call. It just seemed like they had to keep the playoffs the same date, and then it decided then to start the season maybe 2 weeks later, and then so by subtraction you get down to 9 games or 10 games.
And I'm not complaining about it. I'm glad, but I've been glad with 10 or 11, but I was a little shocked when that number came down, and in some ways shocked that high school sports are continuing. But I think the big thing, and I mentioned this yesterday, when you look at coaches and administrators at schools, a lot of those people had to go to the spring sports kids and say, I'm sorry, you're not going to get to play. And that was really tough. That was tough for those seniors. It was tough for all those kids. And I just don't think anybody wants to do that again if they can avoid it at all.
Well, and all those other sports that were done away with in the spring are outside sports. So I think we've got enough history behind us in that arena to make a decision for this upcoming year. I'm worried about basketball.
Yeah, that'll be a little different because it's inside. I think we can maybe learn some things from volleyball, though, that might help us going forward for basketball.
And that's we have to take advantage of any opportunity we can. Dennis mentioned the Hammett Tories tournament at the end of December, which is a premier event now, and teams are knocking on his door to be invited to come here and play, and some outstanding talent coming into Princeton.
Next week, seasons get underway for soccer and volleyball and football, so let's hope everything goes well and everybody can have a fun season, and you don't realize how much you miss sports until they're not there.
Absolutely, and all the kids they've conditioned themselves. They're ready to hit somebody. They're ready to get out and kick a ball and play some competition. And we had Tanner Reed on last night with the boys soccer team. They're limited too. They're down to a 14-game schedule. Caldwell County usually plays in the neighborhood of 22 to 25 games before the district tournament. So that's a big cut for those guys, and they're putting a lot of games into a short amount of time. And you get out there on the soccer field and play night after night with no rest. That's going to be conditioning is going to be big for his bunch.
Need to get to a break here on the show. Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes with us on the Sideline Report this morning. Back with more after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Herb Hayes Furniture.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast. Showers and thunderstorms possible through the day today, warming up to a high of 83 degrees. Those rain showers will push out of the region by tonight, mostly cloudy down to 66. Partly sunny skies expected through the day tomorrow up to 81. And sunshine for Saturday and Sunday, 82 on Saturday, Sunday, 85 for the high. 83 the high today with showers likely through the day.
Are you struggling to afford health care medications? Let Health First help you. Whether you are insured, uninsured, or underinsured, you will still be cared for at Health First Community Health Center. We offer financial and prescription assistance to all those that qualify, which is based on income and household size. Contact our office at 1-877-667-7017 for more information, or visit our website, healthfirstchc.net. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Visit us at one of our 8 locations for all your health care needs. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
Looking to buy or sell your property? Bollinger Real Estate and Auction is a full-service, one-stop real estate and auction company in Hopkinsville. We are local and family-owned. Let us help your family as it pertains to real estate and personal property. Our services are comprehensive, and we are committed to provide our customers with the knowledge and tools to make educated decisions about their property. Call us today at 270-632-8882 or go to bollingerrealestate.com. Real estate solutions with a passion for people.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes in the studio with us, and we've been talking about Tiger Day yesterday and what a success that was, and some of the people we talked to. And one thing that actually Gary pointed this out to me, I didn't think of it myself, but if Elijah Sindelar had returned to Purdue this year for his 6th year and played this year, he would have granted another year of eligibility next season. So because of the COVID, so he actually could have played next year as a 7th-year senior.
Wow, it's a long time to be in college. I can't blame him for cutting it off after 5, but or 6. But that is interesting.
He actually was granted a 6th year because of his injuries, but chose to move on after the last injury. But just interesting that if he would have really have wanted to have done that and done the rehab again and got back out there, he could have had 7 years.
So he actually played
coaching staff.
three seasons, and this, if we had come back this year, this would have been his 4th. And so he would have been granted a 5th year of.
No, this fall would have been his 6th year.
I know, but I thought in college you could only play 4 years.
Well, see, the NCAA granted everybody this year an extra year of eligibility because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So he got a 6th year because of medical hardship, and then he would have got the 7th year
because of COVID.
So. Some students are using that extra year. I know Shane Burns down at Murray State said he's going to use it down at Murray. So. Great opportunity for some of those kids. Unfortunately, about the COVID pandemic, the result of it all, but maybe a lot of those kids can use that extra year to their advantage.
Todd, and that puts a kind of a little bit of problem on some of this year's high school seniors.
Yeah, because they're going to be going in
scholarships because there aren't going to be as many if these kids are using the 5th year of the scholarships that they have. There's not going to be a lot of openings where sometimes you might have 7, 8, 10 schools chasing a kid. You might be lucky to have 2 or 3 this year that really give them what they want, where they want to go to.
And I'll be honest, I haven't checked to see what kind of expanded rosters the NCAA teams or NAIA schools might have to try to make up for that. But it's going to be a tricky situation with some colleges. Like you say, when they go try to recruit kids to fill out a roster, how many scholarships are they going to have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be limited.
Yeah, just looking at the whole problems of us getting our players to high school football games. I was hearing yesterday that if you took a bus, maybe only 7, 8 kids could ride. 9 kids
and
could
a driver
ride on
now.
a bus. So
well, I think I heard last night that it was actually 11. I guess maybe it depends on the type of bus you've got or how many seats there are. Mm-hmm. But that's still not very many on a bus. If you've got 50 football players going to a ball game and you can get 10 people on a bus, that's a lot of buses.
It's a lot of expense, and I didn't realize that the school board paid the bus bill. It didn't come out of the athletic budget until I heard Kim say that. But still, the KHSAA, I think, on their website has a chart on the size of the bus. Some of the real big ones they let them have 14 players. But still, you're talking about, at best, a fourth of a team.
But as of right now, we're not even really sure about our coverage coming up this year for Tiger football. We'll be on the air for all the games, but as far as video streaming goes, last year we did all the road games live and taped the home games and put them up later. This year we're going to have a live video stream for the home games so everybody can watch those, but we're kind of at the mercy of the host school when we go on the road.
Yeah, it's a new thing, and I think Beth talked about this a little yesterday. KHSAA will put the cameras up for schools that want to buy into this program. I understand it's a 3-year program where the schools have to buy into it, and they're selling basically pay-per-view or subscriptions to these things for $9.99 a month for that team, but the school only gets 99 cents out of that subscription per subscription. So I don't see a big increase in their revenue by going to this, and plus you're signing up for 3 years. That's why we're so fortunate here to have the leadership with the radio station we have to allow us to be on and stream some of these games and get the big turnouts.
So, I mean, ideally we would like to go and video stream all the games live. I mean, that would be the game plan, but like I said, when we go on the road, you're kind of at the mercy of the host school, and host schools own the broadcast rights to those kind of games. So, in the past, they really thought about that with colleges. That was a big thing for colleges, but now high schools are kind of getting into the video game too.
Well, and that's brought about by the COVID and the opportunity, I think, for the KHSAA to rake in some more money with this
and the
endeavor.
National Federation. I think it all runs through the NFHS, somehow.
And not every school has to opt into it. Caldwell County has opted out because of the situation we have here with WPKY and the Edge Media Group. But that is a concern, and I'm of the opinion that if we don't stream those home games live, we can still tape them and show them later. I think that's going to be permissible. I'm not sure
that's what we've been doing, but this year we're going to actually show them live because we.
Okay, I'm talking about the away games.
Yeah, well, the away games, we would like to show all of those live, but we're at the mercy of the host school.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait. If we did film it, we'd have to wait until the game's over to put it up online.
Yeah, maybe Union County is a good example. I don't know whether they stream at all over there or have streamed in the past. So
what I understand is surprisingly Trigg County opted into this from the last report I got. So we may not even get to go 25 miles across the county line and stream one live back to Princeton.
Well, good thing is Trigg County comes here this year, so.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had the big 56-54 battle over there last year, where Derek just kept running all over them.
That was a whale of a fun game, but we couldn't stop their big guy, and they couldn't stop ours.
No, the Jordan kid was a load at quarterback. And I think he's at the Naval Academy.
He's at the Naval Academy.
So Derek Hollowell's at Kentucky Christian, and those guys just put on a show last year.
It was fun. We had a situation where I think Coach McClung told one of the other coaches that I've thrown everything I know to throw at them, and we're not stopping him. So it was a fun game, but just two outstanding performances. You got to take your hats off to those kids. They wanted that win.
Well, and just kind of proves that you never really know what kind of game you're going to see when you go to the football stadium, because I sure never expected to see 56-54 or whatever ended up being last year. That wasn't the type of the game I had anticipated heading over to Trigg County.
I think we were much heavily favored, more than a 2-point game.
But that's a big rivalry. I think people underestimate the Caldwell-Trigg rivalry. I think it's one of the better ones in Western Kentucky, and it doesn't get the notoriety of some of the other ones, but talk about big crowds. There's always a big crowd for that one, whether it's here or there, and the games are always exciting regardless of what anybody's record is.
And Trigg County usually has some really outstanding athletes. It's surprising to me that they've not been as good as they have been in the past the last 10 years. They've just now they have a new coach.
Right.
So who knows, that situation may turn around quickly.
And speaking of surprising records, look at Christian County. We have them now as the wrap-up to the season at the Stadium of Champions. Who would ever think they would not win a game in the whole season?
Right. And we had a battle with them out here in the season opener last year.
Mm-hmm.
We had to have a punt return and a kickoff return to beat them last year out here, which is rare in any kind of football game.
19-14, I believe, was the final score of that game.
Right,
so need to get to another break here on the Sideline Report. We'll be back after this here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Taco John's.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast. Showers and thunderstorms possible through the day today, warming up to a high of 83 degrees. Those rain showers will push out of the region by tonight, mostly cloudy down to 66. Partly sunny skies expected through the day tomorrow up to 81. And sunshine for Saturday and Sunday, 82 on Saturday, Sunday, 85 for the high. 83 the high today with showers likely through the day.
Need cash fast? ABC Finance is open with social distancing implementations in place. They believe it's more important now than ever to get a handle on your finances.
Hi, this is Jody Lamb at the Princeton ABC Finance location.
And this is Todd Morris at the Hopkinsville location.
At ABC Finance, we don't just provide loans, but we also provide valuable advice to help you get your credit in better standing.
Our friendly team of professionals has your best interest in mind. We celebrate with you when your finances improve.
We encourage you to like our Facebook page, ABC Finance Company. Many of those useful tips are posted daily on our page, including tons of community info and motivation for the day.
To view social distancing guidelines and safety measures, like and follow ABC Finance Company on Facebook. ABC Finance is located off Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville, next to O'Charlie's, then Princeton and the Princeton Plaza. Apply for loans online or simply give them a call. They'll take your application over over the phone. ABC Finance, all loans subject to normal credit approval.
Back on the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes on the show with us. Next week, high school sports start for soccer, volleyball, and football teams. Caldwell County football opening at home Friday night against Crittenden County out at Tiger Stadium. And we've talked about the restrictions and all the COVID things, but Dennis, what kind of football season are you looking for out of the Tigers this year?
I'm looking for a big season out of Caldwell County on this 9-game schedule. You've got a lot of seniors, seen playing time, all they've needed over the last year or two. You've got some premier juniors, with the kicking spot being one of them. So I think that our team sets up good to have a great year if we don't suffer a lot of injuries. I think we can go into the playoffs on a big note.
And basically, I agree with Dennis. We lose 4 or 5 players from last year, two of which were really, really valuable. But you give these other 40 kids plus that are coming back a year of growth, year of work in the weight room, and I think we're loaded. We may not have the breakaway speed that we would want, but we've got everything else: defensive ability, defensive secondary, offensive line, defensive line. So it's going to, and we don't know what contributions any of the incoming freshmen may make, but we had a really outstanding 8th grade team last year and an outstanding 7th grade team the year before. So it's all in the mix, Todd. We just have to sift it up and throw it out on the field and see what happens.
I think you hit it on the head with that offensive line. Those guys all came in young together. They've got a lot of battle under their belts now, and it's one of the premier offensive lines, I think, in this whole end of the state.
Well, had there been no COVID-19, I think we would have spent the last few months talking about how good the Caldwell football team is going to be, how good the Caldwell volleyball team is going to be, how good girls soccer is going to be, and how improved boys soccer is going to be this year.
Absolutely. Everything's looking bright in any sport. You pick it in the fall, and Caldwell County is doing a good job. Throw golf in with that.
Yeah.
You've got a golf team now.
Yeah.
You've got some kids out there. They're working hard. You see them on the course all the time trying to improve. So you got to tip your hats to those kids, too.
And finally, in the mix, we've got 3rd graders, 4th graders, and 5th graders playing golf now, which we didn't have in the past. So it looks great. The golf future looks great here.
So hopefully the COVID situation doesn't take away from those upcoming seasons. And like I said, we'd have been touting all these teams coming up and all these senior seasons coming up for all these seniors, and if we hadn't had all the other things going on.
Well, it looks like we may have to start the drum roll here in a minute, as we are maybe getting the totals for the Tiger Day yesterday.
Well, I hope maybe that Heather would just grab a mic over there and.
Heather's hoarse. She's hoarse. She's hoarse today. She talked a lot yesterday.
Not as much as he did.
All right, so we have a total right now, $14,765 raised on Tiger Day.
Wow.
So that's, goal was $15,000, so still time to get to that.
Well,
mark.
let's knock that goal, that door down.
So I think if you go online, if I'm not mistaken, those are open until noon today before we shut those off.
Yes, so you can still make a donation and push us over that $15,000 mark.
That would be awesome, and I'm tickled to death at that number.
$14,765.
And congratulations, and thank you, Princeton and Caldwell Countyans.
Well, and I mentioned this yesterday, and we talked about the great community support. But the thing that has struck me for the last several months is you go to the practices, which were basically just conditioning drills. A lot of people were just running, and that's about all they could do. That's not a whole lot of fun going to practice and just running the whole time. But wherever I went, kids were there, and they were working hard, and they were getting ready for a season that for a long time they didn't even know if they would have that season or not. So, kudos to everybody for showing up and putting in the work, even when they weren't sure that there were going to be games.
And I have to echo those sentiments, Todd, because when you know or feel like there may be nothing to play for, you're just going to naturally let down and not maximize the opportunity you have in practice. And I've always heard, everybody knows it, that the way you practice is the way you play. So hats off to the young people in the community that own these teams that were training with no understanding of what if they would have a season.
Yeah, it's one thing to go out there and work when you have a date that, hey, here's the first scrimmage and here's the first game, but for the longest time we didn't have any of those.
And you also have to tip your hat some to Kim Farmer and Beth Mann for getting together on this about a month ago and taking a chance. I know it's got to be a big relief to Kim Farmer to know she's basically going to have $15,000 in the budget plus whatever gates come in to offset what the normal season would be. And I'm sure she's got a big sigh of relief this morning that the numbers are that great. But like Bob said, thank you to Princeton and Caldwell County for coming up big this week.
And, you know, one thing we found out through all this COVID thing is how important fans are to ball games, because you watch any professional sport on TV and it's incredibly obvious that no fans being there makes a big difference.
A huge difference. And, yes, at least we get 30% of our fan base into the stadium this year, and maybe more as the season goes along. Who knows about that? So, no, it's going to be an interesting season, and we've yet to mention, Todd, that it's also the inaugural season for Will Barnes.
Absolutely.
So he's been under the gun trying to get things ready for his coaching debut.
And kind of a weird situation that Caldwell now with basically 3 head coaches in 3 seasons, although it's been basically the same coaching staff.
Right.
And that's we've talked about that many times in the past. Once you get on the staff here, more than likely you're going to stay 15 to 20 years.
David Barnes a couple of years ago, and then his death before last season, and Wayne McGowan was the head coach last season, and then Will taking over the reins this year. So, like I said, it's a different name out there, but it's still the same guys on the staff.
Exactly, and I had a chance yesterday to call up and talk to Will because of the closeness of the season. We had not done any homework in trying to arrange anything. So he's going to be with us on the pregame interview, and he will also be with me on the Saturday morning quarterback. So we've got things pretty well in tow there, and I think our Friday night schedule may remain the same. Depends on what the Edge group does in putting it together. So, you know, at least we're getting ready to play 8 days from now.
Yeah, I still anticipate the Your Sports Edge football Friday night at 5:30 and the coaches show and the pregame show and all those things. So those are our plans moving forward.
And it starts off actually tomorrow night, Your Sports Edge big football preview. I hope everybody tunes into that.
2 hours, and plans are to start with Caldwell County, so that'll be good. From 6 to 8 o'clock, you can hear it right here on WPKY, also WKDZ, WHVO. Tune in on WPKYonline.com or the WPKY app. So it's a lot of places.
So it's near, and we're excited as we can be. Bob and I have talked some this summer, and are we going to have it, are we not? But we are tickled to death that next Friday night we'll get to come on the air and do some Tiger football.
And our preview show, we'll also have Trigg County, Christian County, Hopkinsville, Todd County Central, and Larry Vaught will be joining us on the show to talk about UK football. So 6 to 8 o'clock, again, you can listen to it right here.
Great. Wonderful.
And you can still go online to WPKYonline.com and watch all of our interviews from yesterday. And previews are coming to YourSportsEdge.com. Some of the soccer previews and volleyball previews are already out, so check YourSportsEdge.com for football previews, which will be coming out this weekend as well. Guys, any final thoughts on the upcoming season?
No, just I want to say you got 2 hours to get us over that $15,000 hump.
Yeah.
By going to WPKYonline.com. So help us out, and let's get that total up over $15,000.
And I have to agree with Dennis that let's let the money keep coming in, keep rolling in, maybe even after the hours. I'm sure there'll be somebody that can get a check to Mrs. Farmer by Tuesday of next week or Wednesday of next week. So, and it's great to be able to open it at home so we can get the kinks worked out in the press boxes, whatever concerns are going to be in the press boxes this year due to COVID. So it's still a learning process as to what you and I and Dennis will have to go through to do all this.
Well, even at Your Sports Edge, we're not exactly sure the steps we'll have to go through to, cover ball games this year, whether it's soccer or volleyball or football or whatever. So
There's a lot of uncertainty still, but right now the one certainty is we'll be playing some sports.
As we always say, all you can do is all you can do.
Yeah, we'll do the best we can, and may sound muffled through a mask. We'll try a few different masks or shields or whatever. But
I'm not sure that I'm prepared to talk through a mask, but if I have to, I guess I will.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it to get on there.
We'll work that out.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in today. Sort of an extension of Tiger Day, and you guys were both here yesterday, and appreciate you making the trip back in this morning.
Well, thanks for all y'all did here at the radio station. It was a great day.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
That's Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes. This is Todd Griffin. Thanks for joining us this morning. You've been listening to the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950. We're 1580, 103.3 WPKY Princeton.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Joe Biden and his wife Jill will be in Kenosha, Wisconsin today, saying he'll meet with law enforcement and community leaders about the Jacob Blake police shooting and violence, including the destruction of businesses and killing of 2 protesters. President